What should you pack in your hospital bag? So I am Deb Flashenberg. I'm the founder and director of Prenatal Yoga Center in New York City. And many of my students ask me that exact question. So I thought, all right, let's make a list and let's go over it. So the first thing I would do if you don't have a doula, you're going to want a birth ball, kind of like this one, or a peanut ball, because not all the hospitals have them. And if they do, they might not be available. And sometimes they're kind of gross. So pack your own peanut ball and birth ball. Next, you want copies of what I call your super simple birth plan. So I talked about that in a different video, so make sure you check that out. Pack 3 copies in your bag. It is not pages long. It is super simple. It is easy to hand out to the staff. Next, you're going to want a cheat sheet. Something like this, where you have a bunch of different positions that you can be in throughout labor. Now, the idea is that every 5 contractions or so, you want to change positions, especially if you have an epidural. So having a cheat sheet of different positions is really helpful. So tuck that in your bag. Then let's get back to basics. We also want to have some slides, something that you can just slip on. So think about the hospital floors. They're kind of gross. So if you want to be on your feet, even though you might have socks on with little slippy grips, you're then going to get back into the bed in which you're going to meet your baby. And so that's a little, in my mind, it's a little gross. But you also want to have shower shoes. If you think that you're going to be getting in the shower, then slide those shower shoes on. Again, sometimes a little gross. Side note, back in the days when I was a doula, I used to bring hydroperoxide and I would clean the bathroom, the tub, the shower, and the sink area. I guess maybe I'm a little germophobic, which is funny that I used to be in hospital so much. All right, so then we also want a hot water bottle. This is really helpful if you don't have a doula. I always brought this back when I was a doula. You can put it at your lower belly, which is great for relaxing your uterine ligaments, and then also at your lower back for discomfort. So grab, and it's just a basic hot water bottle. It's a plastic hot water bottle with a little, it's a rubber hot water bottle with a little plastic top. All right, next, music. So a lot of people find music really relaxing, great for downregulating your nervous system, or maybe you need something to kind of hype you up. So have some music, and it could be really fun to make some birth playlists. And then you're going to want to have snacks. Now, you may not be eating the snacks, but your partner may need the snacks. Now, also, just side note for partners, make sure you have toothbrush and toothpaste, because they may be breathing a lot with you, and you don't want them to have some stinky breath if they're breathing right in your face. Maybe some breath mints in there too. Now, speaking of breathing, you as a laboring person, lots of breathing. So have your partner have some lip balm in their pocket, because you're going to love to put that on your lips after all that heavy breathing. All right. Then there it is. To stay hydrated, a water bottle for you and your partner. All right, let's keep going. A phone charger, because we don't know how long you're going to be there, and I'm sure you want some pictures of your newborn baby. Maybe with some pictures of you throughout labor if you want. And then, especially if you're having an epidural, you could still have hours of being in labor, even though you may not be feeling that much. So a book, an iPad, something that's going to keep you entertained, and maybe you're sleeping, but know that it could be several hours, and you and your partner might be a little tired and just want to maybe kind of space off a little bit with some entertainment. All right, then you want some baby clothes, but you're going to bring your baby home in. And then assuming after birth, you're going to want some comfy pajamas. And then you're going to want some nursing bras if you're nursing, maybe some nipple cream. And then think about the clothes you're going to wear home. Now, especially think about, you may have an unplanned cesarean, so that scar could be really tender. So you want comfy postnatal clothes, something to be really easeful on your way home. And then some mesh underwear. Now, the hospital rooms have some. So once you enter your postpartum recovery room, stock up on a few of those mesh underwear, put them in your bag. They're going to be a lifesaver, because for 4 to 6 weeks postpartum, no matter how you birthed, you're going to be bleeding. So you're going to have those big pads, and the mesh underwear is perfect. So grab a few extra ones. And then finally, just some basic toiletries. So those are things that I would recommend putting in your hospital bag. All right, I hope this helped. Follow for more tips.